คนเดินรถไฟดิอันนี้ไปถ่ายรูปใช่ไหมเนี่ยครับถ่ายวิดีโอใช่ไหม
ว่า10แล้วยังติดในรถอีกหลายรายยังอยู่ในวอกกี้อีกหลายรายโครงสร้างทั้งหมดไม่เสถียร
และสิ่งของนะครับยังไม่สามารถเอาได้อยู่ระหว่างตัดถ่างและเคลียร์อุปกรณ์เพื่อจะนำผู้ที่ว่ายังมีชีวิตน่าจะสามารถเคลียร์ด้านล่างได้และจะ
เพราะโบกี้นี้ไม่รู้กี่โซนนี้โบกี้มันขาดครึ่งเลยอ่ะอันนี้ท่อนหนึ่งที่ว่าหนัก
This is Dabu 7. We have a massive event underway here across the country affecting multiple, not just Verizon, but multiple different cellular services. Initially, it was said Verizon was hit by this big outage, saying that no one could make a call across the country. They couldn't send text messages, so it seemed like it was focused on Verizon. But as you can see here, it's beyond that. This means that this is a lot deeper and potentially a targeted attack here. When you see US Cellular, AT&T, T-Mobile, all these other big places being disrupted, it shows that it's not just Verizon and that this is widespread. So thousands of people out there reporting this, saying that their phones are stuck in SOS mode. They have no connection to Verizon's network, and again, that's just Verizon. You can see here, T-Mobile, AT&T, massive issues as well. Now, I did test this. I have one of these networks, and the call went through to somebody basically here at the house, and it worked, but that's not to say that a ton of other people out there aren't having issues. Let me know in the comment section what area you're in, what service provider you're dealing with if you have an outage, and what all is going on. I'll stay on top of this. I'll update on X.
And this is the latest from Saudi Arabia. It concerns Iran, and Saudi Arabia has told Iran that its territory and airspace will not be used for any military strike against Tehran. The move from Riyadh comes in the backdrop of Trump's warning of possible military action against Iran following a government crackdown on protests. According to reports, Riyadh has directly communicated its position to Tehran, making it clear that it does not want to be drawn into any conflict. The development comes as Iran has warned it would retaliate by striking U.S. allies and military bases if attacked. The United States maintains significant military assets in the Gulf, including deployments in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. A few hours ago, the United States withdrew some personnel from key bases in the region as a precaution given heightened regional tensions. Arab leaders, however, have advised Washington against any military action on Iran. So this is the latest coming in from Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia has denounced America from using its airspace for attacking Iran. And the move from Riyadh comes in the backdrop of Trump's warning of possible military action against Iran following a government crackdown on protests. Now, according to reports, Riyadh has directly communicated its position to Tehran, making it clear that it does not want to be drawn into any conflict.
Mr. President, on NATO, right now it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country.
Well,
the United. Are you saying that? Would you do that?
No, you're saying that.
Would you
I
acquire
didn't
that by
say it.
force?
No,
right
you're
now?
telling me that that's what I'm going to do. You don't know what I'm going to do.
So what are the options?
Your
then?
network
Because
doesn't know either.
The Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right now?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland is very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is, there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Denmark fought alongside the United States in both Afghanistan
Thank you
and
for telling me
Iraq.
that. I appreciate it.
But
I have a very good relationship
they're
with
an
Denmark,
ally
and we'll see how it all works out. I think something will work out. Yeah, please.
Something unusual is happening far from Washington, far from Europe, far from the usual flashpoints. In the waters of Africa, a quiet but very powerful message is being sent. Warships from China, Russia and Iran. They are sailing together, not for patrol, not for any sort of coincidence, but for a planned show of strength. You're watching Times XP. It's me, Triti Athri. Well, this is BRICS Plus in action. The location matters. The ships have gathered near South Africa, close to Simonstown, a historic naval base with deep strategic value. Africa is no longer just a bystander in global power games. It is becoming the stage now. Well, the exercise has a calm name, Will for Peace 2026, but behind the name lies a serious signal here. Navies that rarely operates together, they are now coordinating openly. China brings scales, advanced destroyers, long-range capability, a blue water navy that now operates far from home. Russia brings experience here, battle-tested crews, deep naval tradition, basically a country used to operating under pressure and sanction. And here, third factor, Iran brings intent. A navy shaped by decades of confrontation, specialized in asymmetric tactics, focused on disrupting stronger opponent. Together, they are practicing anti-piracy mission. They are running counter-terror drills. They are coordinating maritime security operations. On paper, it sounds routine, but in reality, it is strategic theater. This drill comes at a very sensitive moment. Global tensions are already high. Warnings of conflicts are growing louder. The United States has issued strong signal about possible military action in multiple regions. This naval gathering is not accidental timing. This is a response, a visual answer, a reminder that pressure will not go unanswered. BRICS Plus is no longer just an economic idea. It is slowly gaining a security dimension. Not a formal military alliance, but basically a platform for coordination. South Africa's role, it is very important. By hosting the exercise, it signals independence. It shows Africa is not choosing sides quietly. It is asserting relevance here. For Washington, this raises an uncomfortable question. How many fronts can global power manage at once? How many regions are becoming contested spaces? And how fast coordination among rivals is improving? Well, for the world, the message is subtle but serious. Global power is becoming multipolar at sea, not just on land or in trade. Naval coordination is turning into diplomacy with steel. No missiles are fired, no shots are exchanged, but signals are being sent very clearly. 3 ships are not here by chance. They are here to be seen. They are here to be counted. The oceans are no longer neutral spaces. They are becoming mirror of global rivalry. And this drill of Africa, it is proof that balance of power is being tested far from the headlines.
And US President Donald Trump has taken a sweeping move to curb immigration. And that's right, Diksha. In fact, the State Department has even frozen the process of granting visas from as many as 75 countries. The decision targets immigrant visas only, not tourist or business visas. The latest move comes amid a broader immigration crackdown. Trump administration is calling it a measure to protect American taxpayers. The State Department says that more than 100,000 visas have been revoked since President Trump's return to office. Now, the latest freeze on immigration will apply to several Asian, African, South American and European countries. And these include India's neighboring countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Myanmar. Additionally, Russia, Brazil, Iran, Nigeria and Egypt have also made it to the list. From war-torn regions to some of the poorest countries, the US has been closing gates for migrants from West Africa and West Asian countries like Iraq, Yemen and Syria. Visa applications for Cuban and Colombian migrants will also stand frozen. While the Trump administration says that this new suspension does not apply to tourists, business or other temporary visas, including for soccer fans planning to travel to the United States for the year's World Cup. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York.
The Trump administration has ordered a pause on immigrant visa processing at U.S. embassies as well as consulates worldwide for 75 countries, triggering confusion for thousands of applicants. The directive affects people seeking permanent residency and comes as the White House conducts what it calls a broad review of visa screening and enforcement standards as well. Now, officials say that the pause is temporary, but no timeline has been given for when processing will resume. Temporary visas, including tourist visas, student and work visas, are not affected, at least not yet. Immigration advocates warn that the move could significantly slow legal immigration and disrupt families already deep in the application process. For now, applicants are left waiting, with embassies instructed to halt interviews until further notice.
New video shows federal agents arriving at a popular Minneapolis restaurant, but employees in the community stood in their way. Now neighbors say they continue to step up with those kinds of actions. Jason Rantala has the story.
We defended this community.
Surveillance video shows several men exit an SUV outside Rectangle Pizza in South Minneapolis.
And they stormed up on our door to try to get in.
But Rectangle Pizza co-owner Brianna Evans says employees and community members chased off those ICE agents after they tried to enter her restaurant Monday afternoon. Video appears to show those agents leaving, but not before deploying chemical agents, which were kicked right back.
We probably put a target on ourselves with that by helping people, which is sickening.
The visit comes after a Rectangle Pizza fundraising campaign for nonprofits.
You guys have donated over $83,000.
In addition to donating pizzas for each customer purchase for people impacted by the increased ICE presence. Just down the street, community members like Sid King,
if ICE is going to stay here, then I'm going to stay here.
Stand guard outside Spit & Kitten on the lookout for ICE.
We're sticking together as a community.
Inside that shop, an outpouring of support for immigrant neighbors.
We have people calling us from all over the world trying to help.
Donations pouring in, food and household goods for people trapped in their homes.
At one point, the store was just full, as are all the neighboring businesses.
So many donations that neighboring business, Twin Cities Leather, located inside the Umbra Arts building,
and I literally just took a broom and pushed everything to the back wall.
Made extra space.
48 hours ago, this room was filled, taller than me, with donations from the community.
Community members sending a strong message.
Minneapolis strong. Community first. They don't belong here. They're not this community. They're not what we believe in. We support and love each other, and you can see from that video exactly what happens when they try to with us.
In Minneapolis, Jason Rantala, WCCO News.
A Rectangle has now reduced its hours to have more staff present for each shift.
We have this story here. A 21-year-old anti-ICE protester has been blinded after being shot during a local rally against the shooting death of Renee Good in Minnesota. That Friday night in Santa Ana turned violent. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez live in downtown Santa Ana. Christina, you spoke to this protester.
Yeah, this morning while he was still in the hospital, he has just been released. He identifies himself as Caden Rumler. He's blind in one eye, he says, and he's sharing photos of his injuries. And I'm going to warn you, they're disturbing, but he wants to share them because he says he wants people to understand the difference between what he's saying happened and what Department of Homeland Security is saying. We also have as much video as we could of the incident. So here, take a look. Federal agents approach protesters during a Friday night rally in Santa Ana. Grab someone holding a loudspeaker and pull him away as other protesters move up, including one wearing a dark shirt who doubles over. The other protester wearing a white shirt struggles with officers. The officers then grab the protester with the black shirt, Caden Rumler, who sent me these photos from the hospital where he says he is being treated for a serious eye injury, which he describes in a statement read by a fellow member of Dare to Struggle, the organization that was protesting Friday.
I heard a bang and suddenly I was on my knees. The DHS agent dragging me towards the building. I was gripping the front of my collar.
Over the phone, Caden explains he was taken inside the government building and eventually transported to a hospital where he remains after losing his eye. This is the moment he says an agent shot him.
Shot at point blank range in the face with a pepper ball bullet.
The other protesters seemed struggling with officers also speaking to media.
I was released from Santa Ana jail after being held for almost 3 days without knowing my charge until the morning of my release.
DHS responding to Fox 11 saying this was a mob throwing rocks, bottles, and fireworks, and that, quote, one of the rioters who was arrested for disorderly conduct was taken to the hospital for a cut and was released that night. Orange County Supervisor Vicente Sarmiento says he was there and that local authorities cannot get any details from the feds about what you see happening in this video.
We can't hold anybody responsible. That's the frustration that people have, is that they're seeing this unfold before their eyes with little to no accountability.
And he's also afraid that people are going to stop showing up at these rallies. And the organization, I know they're saying they're going to continue, that they don't want people to be afraid. Now, I have put the entire statement we got from the Department of Homeland Security on our website at foxla.com so you can read it. And they insist that this was a mob. This young man says he was holding a megaphone. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live downtown Santa Ana. Back to you, Christine.
So the group of protesters, they held a news conference today. Are they planning to take further action? Can they take further action?
Well, like the supervisor said, they're not even getting, local authorities are not even getting the information that usually you would get from a different agency like a federal, so this could be investigated. So they're trying to, but at this point, even the local authorities, the supervisor is saying these guys are acting under their own volition and their own authority without having to answer to anybody. So yes, they can, but we'll have to see what happens once they get into courts. I know that the feds say they want to charge these kids with obstructing justice.
All right, and as you said, the statement from the feds on our website. Thank you so much.
Many of us are on the ground with our communities, and what we are witnessing is harrowing. This harm is coming from ICE, and it is making our communities less safe.
Give me your hands. Give me your hands.
No justice, no peace. No
Cowards! Nazi cowards!
Back up. Back up. Watch your step. Back up.
I'm literally a U.S. citizen.
Give us a
I'm
phone
literally
number.
a U.S. citizen.
That is an employee at a Target in suburban Minneapolis being arrested a day after Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent. This is what we know about what happened at that Target. There were actually 2 workers at Target that were arrested in this confrontation. In the moments before the arrest, you can see agents approach the Target, and that includes Gregory Bovino, and that's the top Customs and Border Patrol officer that has been on the ground there in Minneapolis. The employees are cussing at them as the agents ask repeatedly if they're U.S. citizens. They don't immediately answer. One agent then is seen lunging at one of the workers and arrests him. Some people seeing this video say that they think the worker threw a punch, but that is not clear. You have to be the judge. The video does show an agent with a knee on the face or neck on one of the detained workers, and that is something that really caught the attention of a state representative who spoke to Scripps News.
Aggressively putting their knee on the neck of one of the workers, which is terrifying and unsafe and not good police practice in any shape or form. We know that here in Minnesota quite well.
The agents let those Target workers go and didn't charge them with anything.
You okay, man? No, I'm not okay. Bro,
Police responding overnight after protesters gathered outside of a downtown Minneapolis hotel where ICE agents were believed to be staying. So here's the scene just after midnight. Police in riot gear saying that they will arrest protesters. Protesters saying they gathered outside the hotel to prevent ICE agents from sleeping. It's unclear if any arrests were made. DHS officials say 2,400 people have been arrested by immigration officials in the Twin Cities since Operation Metro Surge began.
On the air tonight, we have learned that there was an ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis. We go live to Alexis McAdams. She is live on the ground with the details. Alexis, I've just been looking at these images that we're just getting a hold of now, and we'll keep them up for our audience to see. It looks like things are, spiraling out of control very quickly there.
Well, Sean, that's the thing, is it ebbs and flows. So 1 minute, there's a small protest at the federal building. The next minute, these people with whistles and an agenda show up to these different sites across the city. That's what DHS has been saying. What we know right now from our colleague Bill Melugin, who just got off the phone with his federal sources, Sean, is that a man who was a target of an ICE operation from Venezuela, who ICE says was in the country illegally, was a target in this operation here in Minnesota. Shots were fired. This Venezuelan teen, we're told, was shot in the leg, expected to be okay. Bill Melugin telling me there's actually a picture that a source texted him of this guy on a stretcher smiling, kind of giving a thumbs up as he's taken away to the hospital.
They were promising on-the-spot hiring to where you could, in fact, walk out with your $50,000 bonus that day, possibly. I went in. I handed in my resume, which was, I did a skills-based resume. I'm a veteran. I served 2 tours in Afghanistan. So on the surface, the resume looked pretty good. Had a very brief interview, took all of 6 minutes. They didn't ask very many questions. And then I left, assuming I would never hear back, because I'm a very Googleable person. I have an unusual name. I'm the only Laura Judith on the internet. And I make no secret of how I feel about ICE and Trump and all of it. So I was not expecting several days later to receive a tentative offer. I missed it in my inbox and it sunk to the bottom, which means that I never filled out the paperwork they requested. I never accepted the tentative offer. I never filled out my background check paperwork. I never signed the affidavit saying I committed no domestic violence crimes, none of it. A few weeks later, I got a message from LabCorp saying that ICE wanted me to do a drug test, and I went ahead and did that. I was pretty sure I wouldn't pass. I'd partaken in legal cannabis 6 days before the test, but why not waste some of their money, right? And then 9 days after that, I decided I wanted to, I was curious, had they processed the drug test yet? So I logged onto the ICE hiring portal, and what I found was that not only did the drug test not seem to be relevant, I was listed as having joined ICE as of 3 days earlier. I had listed that I had accepted the offer. They had offered me a final position as a deportation officer. My background check was listed as completed 3 days in the future from when I was looking at it. So it seems like the answer to the question, who are they hiring, is they don't know. I mean, it's very funny that they hired a lefty journalist with a profile on Antifa Watch. That's hilarious. But what's not funny is they didn't make me sign a domestic violence waiver. So how many people with domestic violence convictions are running around with guns in our cities terrorizing people? How many people who have been committed of sex crimes or crimes against children are in charge of detention centers where there's no oversight, where people won't be missed and won't be believed? The agent was very keen on letting me know that I wouldn't be given a badge and a gun right away. I wouldn't be out in the street messing people up. I would probably have to push paperwork for about 6 months before I got there. And when I expressed that was fine with me, with my analyst background, he actually, the atmosphere changed. He was like, no, listen, we want everyone on the street with guns eventually.
ICE and CBP employees were just doxxed online, including those on the front line, and the man behind it's actually promising more is to come. And the so-called ICE list has branded itself as an accountability initiative, and it's actually the largest DHS data break ever, including names, emails, phone numbers, job titles, and resume data. And the guy who created it, who's living in the Netherlands outside of US jurisdiction, said that his goal is to verify and then share names sent to him since Kristi Noem threatened to arrest Americans who try to reveal the identities of ICE officers. He also said he's had people sending him post-it notes, reporting their neighbors for being agents, bar staff sending him DHS IDs, and to be clear, a lot of ICE CBP agents do not want their names connected to DHS. For Jonathan Ross, the man who shot and killed Renee Good, he reportedly told his neighbors that he was a botanist despite working for ICE since 2015. And understand, this was only the first round of leaks. Reportedly, around 4,500 names are on the list, with 1,800 of those being on-the-ground agents. But also, ICE list claims to have thousands of names that they still haven't released. With that, they said that they wouldn't publish every name. So, for example, omitting names of people who work in childcare within the agency, as well as nurses. And they say that the only way to get your name off the list is to quit. Right? Its creators saying they've removed names of people who've left their positions and will continue to do so unless that person has also been identified at a raid. And the Trump administration, with this, they say that the list is putting those employees and their families in danger, but ICE list says that this is the only way to hold DHS's own agents accountable, since DHS will not do that itself.